A very good evening and a warm welcome to our first edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. We start off with our first story this evening. President Museveni has today met with General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, the leader of the Rapid Support Forces in Sudan, at State House Entebbe. The engagement focused on ending the ongoing conflict in Sudan and restoring regional stability. The meeting comes at a time when Sudan continues to face a devastating war that erupted in April 2023 between the Sudan Armed Forces led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the RSF. The fighting began in Khartoum, quickly spread to other parts of the country, displacing millions of civilians, crippling essential services and triggering one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. In his remarks, President Museveni reiterated his long-standing position that a sustainable peace in Sudan can only be achieved through dialogue and a shift away from divisive politics. He warned against what he described as the politics of identity, saying such an approach only deepens divisions. The president called for negotiations and emphasized the need for African-led solutions to the African problems, urging all parties to prioritize peace over military confrontation. On his part, General Dagalo thanked President Museveni for his hospitality and leadership, describing him as a respected statesman on the continent. He noted that Sudan continues to face serious humanitarian and institutional challenges as a result of the conflict and stressed the need for a peaceful resolution. General Dagalo also expressed interest in strengthening cooperation with Uganda and the wider region, particularly areas of trade, education, and regional integration. President Museveni has rallied political actors to rise above party labels and embrace principle-driven politics, saying national progress depends on shared programs and ideology rather than partisan identity. The president made the remarks while meeting a group of leaders and elders affiliated to the Uganda People's Congress (UPC) and the Forum for Democratic Change (FDC) from across 10 districts of the Lango sub-region. We have the details.
The group that met the president at State House Entebbe was led by the commander of the 5th Infantry Division, Major General Keith Katonji. President Museveni, who is also the national chairman of the National Resistance Movement, said political cooperation should be anchored on ideas and national interest.
I now thank everybody here for finally beginning to do real politics.
Drawing from personal experience as a farmer, the president underscored the importance of national unity in economic growth. President Museveni also acknowledged that political actors must do more ideological work to explain policies and programs to citizens.
And UNC was very strong in Lango. That's why Obote came as UNC. So we are now going back to Miti rather than who you are. So if that is the, once we get this, then this NRM, what, it's not the issue. Because I left DP because it was not dealing with the Miti. It was dealing with who you are. Megwa, hours. Which hours is that?
On their part, the leaders pledged to work collectively with the ruling National Resistance Movement for the social and economic transformation of their region and the country.
The people have realized the importance of working for and with government. Your Excellency, this is an issue that we realize we cannot work without support from government. So we have to work with and for government. And I want to repeat that we are ready to ensure that those who are not for development, we are not going to deal with them as Lango.
Your Excellency, I fully associate with the memo that has been presented here because it represents our voices as the people of Lango.
The NRM Vice Chairperson for Northern Uganda, Honorable Hamson Obua, welcomed the group's decision, saying it aligns with the President's long-standing message on unity and supporting what is right for national development.
In the entire northern region under NRM constituted by Lango, Acholi and West Nile, Lango has gone on record that in the 2026 general elections, we are the winner. We are the winner. Lango beat Acholi, Lango beat West Nile. So we are the winners. And when you are walking, walk like a winner. When you are talking, talk like a winner. When you are jumping, jump like a winner, because we are the winners.
General Katonji, who oversees operations in northern Uganda, thanked the President for hosting the group and commended leaders in Lango for choosing cooperation over division. He noted that various political actors in the sub-region had increasingly embraced dialogue and peaceful mobilization. Charles Ogwal, who presented a memorandum of understanding on behalf of the group, congratulated the President on his electoral victory and pledged continued mobilization for peace and stability.
Kampala Capital City Authority KCCA has implemented the trade order, bringing all vendors, hawkers, border boarders and taxis in ungazetted spaces to a halt. The eviction started at midnight of 20th February 2026 to rid the city of vendors that had not willingly moved their trade spaces.
This is the site of an earlier booming business by vendors and hawkers, border boarders and taxis operating in ungazetted spaces of Kampala City. Kampala Capital City Authority, in an operation that started at midnight of 19th February 2026, enforcing the trade orders, evicting vendors who had not voluntarily vacated their trade spaces. Areas that had long been congested with vendors and hawkers, carving out makeshift market spaces along the street and pavements, are now clear.
Street toza kuletako mudaala nozimba n'okuzimba n'osima n'ebinnya n'oteekayo emiti n'emisumaali n'okomerera oba tokyali street vendor gwe kiba kitegeezebwa otuuse n'okubeera ng'ogenda mu dduuka kuba oba omaze okutondawo edduuka eriryo so kesisi okujja mu ngeri gye yazeemu n'emenya ebintu ebyo tetujja kugamba nti yabadde mbi wabula yabadde teyagala kusasamaza kyetubujje kye twagala okukola ki okubawabula bakikoze bulungi nga bulijjo bwe tubawabula.
City centre walkways and roadsides, once crowded with stalls and buyers navigating tight spaces, are now more open, allowing pedestrians to move more freely.
Nabo batrage kye tulina okutambulirako tulabe nti naffe nga trade order tukikuuma n'abantu baffe.
Roads leading to major markets, some of which had been partially blocked, are now more visible and accessible.
Abantu babadde basibukiridde okukolera ku butale nga bakolera mu ngeri etagwanidde nga bakolera ku makubo obutale babuvaamu dda batandika okukolera ku makubo ekintu ekitali kirungi.
KCCA enforcement team is live on ground, working together with the Uganda police to ensure that nothing goes out of order, to ensure that vendors who would want to come back on the streets don't dare to do so. But the move has drawn criticism, with some vendors saying that the enforcement risks leaving many young people who depend on daily earnings from street trade without an alternative source of income.
Jangu tukwatagane n'enkola zonna ezisoboka okulaba ng'omwana ono akola ki afune ekigulira magala eddiba, otherwise tugenda kuba twagala bamenyi b'amateeka okusinga abakola.
Tampale nendaga abantu bwenti embalaga bulungi nnyo sitegete mbasimanyi kye ngenda kukola mbasiirume.
Simanyi mudaala, simanyi kupangisa dduuka, mbadde ku luguudo ebbanga lyonna nendi bweraliikirivu naakolerawa.
Vendors questioned whether the operation will be sustainable without a clear strategy to resettle or integrate them into the formal economy.
Ebintu babireeta n'amaanyi mangi n'ojja kulaba nga wiiki 2 ng'era bitandise okukka. Abatembeeyi bano bakole ng'okuva essaawa 11 nga balonzeemu enguudo, bakole okuva essaawa 11 paka ssaawa 4 ez'ekiro kesiseerongoose.
The eviction follows a series of efforts by KCCA to rehabilitate green spaces, clear drainage channels, and reopen walkways that had been overtaken by informal trading. Cayenne Faith reporting for UBC.
The government of Uganda Friday commissioned 2 ferries connecting Buyende district in Busoga to Kabera Maido and Serere districts in Teso sub-region on Lake Kyoga. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, flagged off the vessels on behalf of the President at Bukungu landing site in Buyende district.
So on behalf of the President of the Republic of Uganda, it is my honor to officially commission.
The government of Uganda has fulfilled her pledge to the people of Buyende in Busoga, Kabera Maido and Serere in Teso sub-region. Today, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, on behalf of the President, commissioned 2 ferries that will connect Buyende district in Busoga to Kabera Maido and Serere districts in Teso on Lake Kyoga.
The President wasuubiza atuukiriza olwaleero tewali kulanga kulala era saagala saawulire saategedde ekidyeri President kye yasuubiza kitandise olwaleero ng'ennaku z'omwezi 20 omwezi ogwokubiri kigenda kuva wano e Bukungu tugenda Kagwara tugenda Kabera Maido Kagwara Kabera Maido.
Thank you.
Hello. We are about to start. We are starting now. VIPs have sat. The first Deputy Prime Minister is inside. Make sure the ministers are resting in the other corner. Kagwara.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, in a message delivered by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, said the 2 ferries will bring down the transportation cost as well as improving people's livelihood in the area.
We see today is built on that foundation. Infrastructure must serve production, and production must serve wealth creation. The MV BKK 1 and 2 ferries is not merely a vessel. It is an economic instrument. It will reduce the travel time between Buyende, Kabera Maido, and Serere from about 8 hours by road to approximately 1.5 hours by water under normal operating conditions. That reduction in time lowers transport costs, reduces post-harvest losses, accelerates trade, and increases income for farmers and traders of Buyende, Kabera Maido, Serere, and other neighboring districts.
According to the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Aritwala Kadaga, this project started at a time when she was still the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda.
I was here in 1990 when the President made this pledge. I was present here. So it's something I've been talking about all these years and campaigning to ensure that it happens. So I'm really, really happy that has happened in our time.
The State Minister in charge of Transport, Fred Byamukama, informed the people of Bukungu landing site that this is entirely the government of Uganda taxpayers' money.
This project, government of Uganda has so far invested in 42 billion Ugandan shillings. This is not a loan, this is a government of Uganda budget.
The 2 vessels were constructed by a Tanzanian company with a carrying capacity of over 300 people, 14 small vehicles and 1 truck vehicle with a capacity to carry 170 metric tons.
Ate webetika ferry tegenda kubuuza ani yawagira Museveni, ani yawagira NRM, ani atawagira. Buli muntu ayingira ebatwala teferi ya bwerere si ya sente.
Ajanga tsenjire serere oko ujire kutwala yoki. Ujire kukubira abantu baserere. Ujire just kwaye nabo. Otokuba nocho kutwala yokutunda.
And after this long-awaited means of transport, the people of Buyende are calling on government to tarmac the road from Kamuli to Bukungu landing site in Buyende district.
The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Nabanja, has reaffirmed Uganda's commitment to strengthening trade and investment ties with the United Kingdom. Nabanja revealed this during the conclusion of a high-level engagement with a visiting UK business delegation today in her office in Kampala. Speaking at the close of the delegation's visit, the Prime Minister thanked the investors for choosing Uganda as a destination to explore business opportunities, describing the engagement as productive and forward-looking. She said the visit provided an opportunity for the delegation to gain deeper insight into Uganda's investment climate and strategic growth priorities. We have more.
And we came here with the positive notes, and we have last 3 days been in Uganda meeting the trade partner, industry park, and I think we are now really ready to explore whenever is the right person is come forward to us. So the Saki is full commitment for the Uganda, and they give us a chance, and we are here to support the Uganda because we find it's a more opportunity than ever thought about it. Interest is transport, food processing, tourism, skill development for the education, like just the Prime Minister mentioned about the labor things, and we have got some sort of like a skill development program for the youth as well. So youth, because I find it that if they have a skill development, they can stay a little bit more, they can earn a little bit more, and they can get the train as well. So these are the the main thing. On top of that, we have got the dry transport system. We have a food processing. The people are ready for it. So I think for us it's a win-win situation as a Saki, the group. So Saki group is more or less covers everything.
Meeting with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has been instrumental in organising so much of our visit to Uganda this week. We also met a couple of days ago, and we met the Prime Minister in London in October. So we're establishing a very good working relationship with the Prime Minister. She's very dynamic. She wants things to happen, and we're about helping those things to happen, facilitating them to happen for the benefit of our own members, our own businesses which have come here this week, but also for the benefit of Ugandans, because we have a long friendship and we're looking to continue that friendship.
Police in Katwe, Machindie have arrested 5 suspects in connection with border robberies within the Kampala metropolitan area. The intelligence-led operation by the Kampala South Regional Police led to the crackdown of a criminal gang in Makindye and the recovery of a motorcycle and other spare parts. We have the details.
Police have arrested 5 suspects over the robbery of motorcycles following a successful operation in Katwe that resulted in the dismantling of the criminal gang.
On the 16th of this month, we received a report of theft of a motorcycle from Awan Mukasa Kenneth. We started investigations. Findings indicate that Mukasa allegedly gave Awan Ndaula motorcycle to ride. Unfortunately, when he returned, he informed Mukasa that the motorcycle had been robbed.
The arrest of the suspects followed a coordinated operation between the victim and the police after a case of motorcycle theft was registered.
Ndaula Bernard, also known as Twine, we arrested Sekatawa Suleiman, Nakana Joseph, also known as Masada, then Kabugo Habat, and then also Kalatunje George William. Those are the ones we have in our custody to help us in investigations.
Police recovered a motorcycle and other spare parts, linking the 5 suspects to additional robberies in Kampala.
We also managed to recover one suspected stolen motorcycle and also one suspected new motorcycle engine with the chassis number that had been removed.
The suspects are alleged to be habitual border robbers who disguise themselves as passengers and drug riders or use force to steal motorcycles.
Kate, that the suspects allegedly pretend to be passengers, hire motorcycle riders, and then direct them to dark spots and rob them of their motorcycles. The 5 suspects will be appearing in court anytime after investigations.
Riders are urged to remain vigilant and strengthen coordination with security agencies to eliminate criminal elements within the industry.
Let them mind about the people they carry and the passengers. These people direct them to the places the passengers direct them to.
This operation is part of the ongoing security interventions aimed at curbing the rising crime rate in the Kampala metropolitan. Abdunasel Lubwama and Regan Ahumza for UBC.
Learners have been reminded to trust in Allah as they navigate the challenges of life. This was the message delivered by Sheikh Buhan Chiti, a Ugandan Muslim cleric and public preacher, while leading the first Jummah prayer of Ramadan at Kampala City Grammar Nursery and Primary School in Mutondwe.
Muslims around the world today observed the first Friday prayers since the start of the Ramadan fast. A similar situation was witnessed at Kampala State Grammar Nursery and Primary School in Mutundwe. While leading Friday's Jummah prayers, Sheikh Burhan Chiti urged the pupils who attended to prioritize supplication to Allah, especially during the fasting period, rather than focusing solely on academics.
Tukubiriza abaana bonna okwettanira okusiiba. Kale ne bw'aba emyaka gye tegimumazaako lunaku asibeko kyasobodde. Bino byetaagisa abamuliraanye bamuyambeko ne bw'asibayo essaawa z'engazi izo ne bw'alya ku ssaawa 4. Ekituufu okusiba kuba tekuweddeeyo naye tuba tumwadde entandikwa. Okusiba kuno kwa mugaso nnyo because nsonga econnecting omuntu n'omutonzi we. Nsonga mu nsonga eziconnecting ezigatta omuntu n'eya mutonda. Kati omuzadde atulaba tewandyagadde mwana wa connecting na mutonzi we nawe omusomesa.
Sheikh Chiti encouraged learners to trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during life's challenges, saying he is sufficient for everything.
Bantu essubi lyabaggwamu nga naffe oba oli awo abandi libazizzaamu ate naffe ndoza liringa eryatuggwamu ekyobulabe. So kituufu kyogera naye mulange eri baganda baffe bonna betukola nabo mulimu guno tusitukiremu abantu bano tubayambe oba gikuza nti ensi eyina nnyiniyo tojja gigoba omaleko.
The school's head teacher Francis Senabuli and the head of Islamic Religious Studies Musa Abdullahim Salam emphasized giving all pupils the opportunity to practice religion, urging them to follow the teachings and the example of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
It's very, very important that the children learn how to pray. It's very, very important that the children get to fear God, because a child who is not God-fearing is a wasted child. We are what we are because we have been brought up as believers. So in this school, we do not only emphasize Christianity, but we emphasize all religions. That's why we had to celebrate Jummah today. Sheikh had a very good homily or sermon to the children and all of us who are there. He emphasized the point of children being prayerful. He taught them about the importance of fasting. He talked to them about behavior, and he also talked to them about cleanliness.
Kana kasera era kasera ka mukisa nnyo, kasera ka kwetwalira bwengo omuntu okakozese bulungi kagenda okuggwako nga nawe obala nti nno Qur'ani ngisomye nsobodde okusaddaaka nsibuludde basiramu bannange mpisiza bulungi baganda bange.
Some of the learners shared their experiences regarding the blessings and freedom of worship.
It's a warning. I keep on warning other schools to give all religions a pass.
It's taught us a lot of things like fasting, pay attention to what the teacher is teaching, respect our parents. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Kampala State Grammar welcomes all religions, Muslims, Christians, and we have over 100 Muslims. Over 40 Muslim peoples are fasting. The school facilitates their meals for iftar, daku, and all the kids are well catered for. Kids are fasting with the consent of the parents.
Amwaiva Njuko, Antone Senabulia for UBC.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but return with more stories after these messages.
So, Muchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
It's back, bigger and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
Alright, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
New Colgate Herbal with Salt combines traditional nature's herbs with a pinch of salt and Colgate Science. A natural recipe for strong teeth and healthy gums.
Welcome back from that break. We're glad you're still with us here in UBC News Tonight, and more stories this evening. The Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Peter Lokeris, has commended the Government of Ireland for the developmental support, especially towards education across Karamoja sub-region. The Minister was touring Irish aid-funded projects in Karamoja together with a visiting delegation from Ireland led by the Ambassador of Ireland to Uganda, Mags Ghana. The ambassador was accompanied by State Minister for International and Diaspora Affairs, Neil Richmond.
The Irish delegation, led by the Ambassador of Ireland to Uganda, Max Gunnar, and Minister of State for International and Diaspora Affairs, Neil Richmond, have visited different Irish aid-funded projects in Karamoja sub-region. First was a visit to the Manyata tours, where they were taken through Karamoja culture, including food and settlement, among others. At Chismere Primary School, the team inspected a 2-classroom block with a modern kitchen and school dormitory that was constructed by the UN World Food Program, UNICEF, in partnership with Irish government.
In last year, we registered 167 candidates, and out of them, 67 were boys, 100 were girls. So you realize that there is a higher completion rate for girls than boys.
To thank the Embassy of Ireland which provided money to the WFP. Then WFP provided to AFI. Then they gave us this school garden.
These ones have got some positive challenges. Some of them include the following. We have just looked at the dormitory, how congested it is. We have also seen the classes, how congested they are. We want to request, we shall keep knocking at your doors. Please continue remembering Karamoja. And when we are remembering Karamoja, remember Kasimeri Prema.
We provided support for a range of areas, but particularly education. And the last time my predecessor came here, you made the case saying you needed a new dormitory. Well, having seen your dormitory today, I know that is the case. And before we came here, when we travelled out from Dublin, I was delighted to confirm that we have allocated funding to build you a new dormitory.
School operators expressed gratitude to the Government of Ireland for the support, saying it has increased enrollment, retention and completion. Minister Lokeris applauded Ireland for initiatives towards improvement of lives in Karamoja.
Away from roaming around in the bushes, they are all coming to schools, and with the help of this nature, I'm sure this area will be changed.
The delegation also visited Don Vittorio's Community Development Center in Moroto Municipality. Ireland State Minister for International and Diaspora Affairs Neil Richmond shed light on their new funding in Karamoja sub-region.
18.9 million euro in our development programme in Uganda, but 10.5 million euro of that will be here in Karamoja. It is easily our biggest investment partner here in Uganda, but crucially, we've been here for 20 years because we see it works. We see the new schools, we see the people who are able to get education, we see people who are able to get the healthcare.
The Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Peter Lokeris, thanked the Government of Ireland for funding education in Karamoja. Moriniga compiled this report for UBC.
As the 11th Parliament winds up its term ahead of the swearing-in of newly elected members of Parliament, political analysts are calling for a renewed focus on national interests over partisan agendas. They emphasize collaboration and constructive politics as the race for Speaker of the 12th Parliament gathers momentum. Well, our reporter Daniel Mugoya reports.
The 11th Parliament is expected to officially conclude business in late May 2026, paving the way for the 12th Parliament. As the transition draws closer, debate has intensified over the performance of the outgoing House and the direction the next Parliament should take. A section of newly elected MPs has openly endorsed Speaker Anita Among for a second term.
When you look at her track record for about maybe 4 years, she has been down to earth. She has brought Parliament to the people.
The ruling National Resistance Movement, NRM party's top organ, the Central Executive Committee, has reportedly endorsed the incumbent presiding officers, strengthening Among's bid.
The rules of procedure provide that the Speaker of Parliament shall be dragged in chair. So when you have had other people go and announce on radio programs, announce through press conferences, I will be standing, I wish to contest, there are supposed to be no contestations. It's supposed to be a process that organically grows within the view of the members after assessing different considerations of the body politic in Parliament.
Speaker Anita Among has previously described the 11th Parliament as a people-centered legislature that prioritized citizens' need. However, political actors continue to weigh in on its record.
Because the Speaker of Parliament can belong to a party. Wapakawulu was NRM, I think. But he attempted to be a neutral arbiter. They think they are in Parliament to facilitate NRM, not to facilitate the country.
This week, while appearing on UBC TV's political talk show, Behind the Headlines, analysts discussed the working relationship between the executive and Parliament and how it has shaped the country's strategic direction.
They are very good at PR. There is a difference, a world of difference between them and their predecessors. So don't joke with Anita when it comes to public relations and working with other people. I will be very surprised if she's not in touch with 90% of all elected MPs now. That she even remains a threat to the party if they took away this resolution which we are talking about. That's why Mapinduzi is telling you, without mentioning, that for the stability of their party. Because Anita is also fast. She's ahead.
So this talks a lot about why the president of this country and the chairperson of the NRM party is doing his best to keep us united as a country, and when he has an opportunity to make sure that his card plays best, like in this race, what you're calling ring fencing is a game of numbers, where you have an opportunity that you have numbers, and these numbers are positive numbers that are going to create change, a window of change, like the female card and the female empowerment. Then I call it a big win and not ring fencing like you were saying.
State Minister for National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, explained why the NRM Central Executive Committee may have opted to back the incumbent leadership.
As a party, party politics is all about staying in power, by the way. You must assure you're in power, and you must assure you are everything you do strategically has to maintain you in what? In power.
Some senior members of parliament described the current house as increasingly becoming a platform for political expression and party positioning, sometimes at the expense of broader national interests.
But we're saying that as an institution of parliament, and I want to trust that this is what the Right Honourable Speaker plans, we will also have an element of helping members of parliament through the induction and orientation process, because a reflection of the leaders demonstrates how a country is taking its direction for the future.
So that if you have a very good ideas in the opposition, how do we interface with those ideas from government, put them together, and advance this country? That should be the agenda of the 12th Parliament. But if you come and you are like, we are going to fight them, you come, you're in government to fight the opposition, or you're in the opposition to fight government, I can tell you there will be no progress. This is not a place for regime change.
Analysts also point to what they describe as a growing trend of populist politics influencing parliamentary debate and legislative priorities. They further draw comparisons between the quantity and quality of laws passed during the 11th Parliament.
Honorable Zake, listen to me. Honorable Zake, there's a gun in the house, but I'm Speaker, I beg, let...
This new trend of politics accommodates more populist politicians than realistic politicians. You can see how we have been conflicting in passing so many sensitive bills in Parliament. For instance, the UPDF Act.
If you look at the bills we've done, the motions, the processing of accountability committee reports, quantitatively a lot of work has been done, quantitatively. Then you measure the quality, but quantitatively work has been done. We do all the work of Parliament and on time.
We are finishing the 11th Parliament without some of the most volatile incidents like the ones you saw in 2017, as you recall, during the processing of the constitutional amendments, and again the one in 2018 when we were processing the tax bills specifically. We have also processed the anti-homosexuality bill, which the Right Honourable Anita Among steered in the House. All these were contentious legislation which could have created a little bit of disharmony within the Parliament. But the gentility with which the 11th Parliament has been able to deal with this aspect demonstrates to you the tact and the intelligence that the Right Honorable Anita Among has in as far as dealing with even the most complicated political things.
Emphasis has been placed on improving consultation processes and streamlining collaboration between political actors to promote constructive politics in the 12th Parliament.
And we are always traveling to Entebbe State House to have consultation meetings and agree on the position of the party. So it is not true that there is no time or we have limited time when bills are brought. We first discussed these bills in a broader sense during our caucus meetings, and eventually when we agree on the position and the position of the political party, that's when the bills are brought and then we pass it. So there's no friction there whatsoever.
Bukono County MP-elect Persis Namuganza is the only candidate so far to publicly declare interest in the speakership. Meanwhile, Norbert Mao, whose Democratic Party, DP, has a cooperation agreement with the ruling party, is reportedly still consulting. Although she won on an independent ticket, Namuganza's bid has introduced fresh dynamics into the race, with some political observers warning that it could heighten divisions.
We will debate passionately, even when we have disagreed. That is democracy. But we must do so with decorum, discipline, and mutual respect.
As the clock ticks towards the inauguration of the 12th Parliament, attention now shifts to how the next speaker will navigate the fragile balance between party interests and national priorities.
Sergeant at arms has changed and there is nothing.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Yes, there is nothing.
The State Minister for Works, Musa Echweru, has assured all road users at West Nile that bridges and roads that are under construction will soon be motorable. Echweru made these remarks while inspecting the progress of construction in various districts of West Nile.
Minister Cheru, together with officials from the Ministry of Works and Transport, started the inspection at Karuma Kadim Road, where the rains washed away the bridge and is being reconstructed. Minister Cheru says, due to funding constraints, construction had been delayed. However, the ministry is committed to ensuring the construction of the bridge is done in a short period.
The good news is that they have told me other things remaining constant. Within 14 days from today, they will start doing what they call backfilling.
The project is being funded by the government of Uganda, hence Minister Echweru's call on road users to continue temporary diversion as the bridge is being worked upon.
Because of the technical work involved, it may appear slow, but you cannot tell concrete to set because you want to pass there. Concrete must have to take its normal time.
Afterwards, the minister inspected Noya Pakwach Highway that is being worked on by the Chinese company. Minister Cheru clarified on the public concerns about delayed completion of the road.
It is late by many, almost a year, but we are on course now. Just a few critical areas have been addressed by the little resource that was raised, but we continue to mobilize so that all the other places will also be addressed.
At Tangi Bridge that separated West Nile and Lango, the minister commended the work and urged road users to remain patient as the construction works continue.
The people of West Nile, I know, have run out of their patience. They think we have talked so much about this place. But my request, my appeal to my people in West Nile is that continue to hold on your patience and know that work has started, government has started doing this now.
He also confirmed the replacement of the new modern bridge that separates West Nile and Acholi regions, as the current one has reached its lifespan.
It's not true that we are removing the old bridge and just going to use ferries in West Nile in this particular Pakwach area. There's going to be another bridge, a modern one, compared to this one. This one has served, and we thank the British for giving it to us.
Principal Engineer Daniga from the ministry says they have set tip ferry landing sites in case of bridge failures.
Right now the contractor is actively monitoring, and we've also set up ferry landing sites as emergencies in case of any failures for the bridge.
The inspection proceeded to the Koboko-Yumbe Moyo Road that is funded by the World Bank, where the ministry urged contractors to respect the agreed guideline on environmental protection. Echero adds that once the road is complete, it will enhance trade between Uganda and neighboring countries.
So we need a road here that can, apart from moving people to people, it will do trade, but it can also facilitate law enforcement. It is not preparing for war, but law enforcement. So that is what this road is critical about.
Some local leaders commended the government for the projects and highlighted other issues that need to be addressed.
Only enjoy this road if the barrier in form of ferry in Laropi is worked on. So long as we are not going to have a bridge there, then we shall not enjoy this road.
The ministerial inspection of various bridges and roads that are under construction in different districts of West Nile and Acholi aimed to assess their progress.
More than 100 students at Makerere University Business School MUBS are taking bold steps towards entrepreneurship during Impact Week 2026. The 4-day ideation boot camp, organized in partnership with Thomas More University of Applied Sciences, is designed to help students turn business ideas into practical, income-generating ventures.
20 student teams were selected from over 200 applications submitted nationwide. During the boot camp, they are receiving hands-on training in business planning, market research, financial management, and pitch presentation.
This Impact Week is very, very critical for us as an institution. Not just a demonstration of what partnerships and collaborations can do, but what bringing together young people to see their potential, to see what they can do in terms of product development, in terms of ideation, in terms of critical thinking, applying not just classroom knowledge, but also advice and guidance to move to the next stage of developing their businesses.
The initiative responds directly to Uganda's youth unemployment challenge.
This is an opportunity for us to begin the transitioning process, but also to see that we have to get out of the classroom to make entrepreneurship work. As a country, businesses are the ones that make us transform society through impactful businesses like this, but also this is what generates revenue for the country.
Each year, thousands of graduates enter the job market with limited opportunities.
We support the student to understand their business better. So they get a business coach who supports them to understand their business better. Those that have a product will possibly go to a facility where they can go and use shared equipment and other shared facilities to enable them to take their business further. We can support them by linking them to other actors who have, for example, finance and any other support that is necessary to enable their business.
At least 10 of the participating startups will continue into a 6-month mentorship program to refine their products and prepare for the market.
So that they can actually be able to be shaped, they can be sharpened into given that support they need in form of business development, such that they are able to actually shape up their business models, be able to actually grow these ventures that they have into real enterprises that can be able to create jobs for other fellow youth.
For UBC News, I'm Sudat Kaye.
Somchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy,
Why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Sit up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing. Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
New Colgate Herbal with Salt combines traditional nature's herbs with a pinch of salt and Colgate Science. A natural recipe for strong teeth and healthy gums.
Welcome back from that break. Into business. Uganda Railways Corporation, Kenya Airways Corporation and Tanzania Railways Corporation are reviewing their tripartite agreement with the goal of signing a new and binding framework to strengthen regional rail transport. A joint delegation from the Kenyan and Ugandan railway corporations today met the Minister of Works and Transport, General Edward Katumba Wamala, to update him on the progress of negotiations and the proposed timelines for concluding the agreement.
Uganda Railways Corporation and Kenya Railways Corporation are forging renewed partnerships aimed at boosting cargo transport by rail between the port of Mombasa and Kampala. To ensure smooth and efficient cargo operations, the Managing Director of Uganda Railways Corporation, Benon Kajuna, emphasized the need for a binding tripartite agreement that clearly outlines the roles and obligations of each partner state.
Of course, we are going to work hand in hand with the Tanzania Railways Corporation, and we are saying from now up to June 30th, we should have finalized it. And the legal departments will be able to take the lead together with the operations department, so that they can be able to look at the nitty-gritties of this. Then we also agreed that every month we shall be meeting with our Attorney Generals, the Solicitor General's offices, to make sure that the moment we finalize like this, then we are able to give it to them and they are able to clear. So the main objective is to make sure that we improve on the movement of our goods seamlessly from Mombasa, from Dar es Salaam, through to Kampala.
The meeting with the ministers sought to brief him on the status of the negotiations, the expected time frame for signing the new agreement, and the anticipated outcomes once the framework is operational.
When you see the trucks which are on our roads and the number of accidents, if we can move them onto the rail, that would be better. But also to give the transporters affordable transport means road transport is very expensive. So I'm happy that these developments have come and that now you are getting together as we were before. Sometimes it's very interesting. If our forefathers then were able to work together, and yet they were not as exposed as we are, why are we failing to work together in this age? When we are, yes.
With the population of the East African community steadily rising, cargo volumes destined for the region have grown significantly, increasing pressure on existing transport infrastructure.
If you walk out here and you drive from Kampala to Malaba, you will take almost 5 to 6 hours. Because this evening, you cannot drive along those roads because in every 1 meter, you have a lorry. what is the implication? Our governments are spending so much money to repair and maintain roads. It doesn't matter how many roads you build. You can build roads going up, downwards, underground. You will never have sufficient roads for these lorries. So what we are saying, let us have a balance where cargo goes by railway system and some cargo also goes by road.
By shifting substantial portion of the over 17 million tons of cargo destined for Uganda from road to rail, stakeholders say the rail, once the preferred mode of freight transport, can reclaim its lost prominence while reducing road congestion and transport costs.
You know, Kampala, Uganda, we are strategically located as a transport hub because we are served by different corridors. And we are saying we should utilize that as a way of improving our logistics to connect to South Sudan, to DRC, to Rwanda, Burundi, and also back to Kenya and Tanzania.
Dennis Igoa for UBC.
The Uganda Halal Bureau, UBH, has secured game-changing recognition from Malaysia's JAKIM as an official foreign halal certification body. This recognition is expected to unlock doors to one of the world's biggest halal import markets to Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions Authority, UFZEPA's strategic facilitation.
Malaysia demands JAKIM approval for all halal labeled imports. Now, Ugandan products certified by the Uganda Halal Bureau, like processed foods, meat, poultry, dairy, gain automatic access to the country's $21 billion annual food import pipeline.
Halal normally takes two routes. There is a technical route, then there is a theological route. So when they came to the country, they looked at our level, then they decided that we can move with them to the level which is acceptable globally.
Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions Authority, UFZEPA, coordinated the accreditation, aligning Uganda's certification with global standards.
Among all those products that we are certifying and selling as halal products, where do we need to put more effort?
UZEPA being an export promotions authority, its voice would be clear, it would be loud enough to reach various sectors, because most of the people think that halal is for Muslims, of which it is not true, because this industry is for everyone once you're able to comply.
This positions the Uganda Halal Bureau for Brunei entry and future GCC breakthroughs, catapulting Ugandan exporters into high-value international standards compliant trade lines.
Us reaching this level is basically a confirmation that Uganda has moved, not just in the certifying sector, but in the manufacturing space, that we have moved to a level where our products can access these markets, both in quality, in food safety, and in halal, because those three things must always be in tandem.
Malaysia represents structured opportunity of heavy food import reliance that meets Uganda's agro-processing push. Halal certification becomes exporters' golden ticket to premium pricing in Southeast Asia's structured market.
We need to move from participation in these expos, trade fairs, and other economic and commercial diplomacy interventions to results.
Beyond compliance, recognition validates Uganda's quality systems for risk-averse buyers. UFZEPA is bridging certification gaps that block billions in exports. This positions Uganda's $1.5 billion agri-exports for halal premiumization amid Africa Free Continental Free Trade Area and global Islamic economic growth. Wadulo Arnold Mark for UBC News.
Very much.
Into sports, results from the University of Indianapolis. Ugandan swimmer Chirabo Namutebi has continued her dominant form in the 2026 collegiate swimming season. As the Great Lakes Valley Conference Championships, Chirabo secured her third consecutive gold medal in the 50-yard freestyle, touching the wall in 22.20 seconds. That 50-yard free time of 22.20 seconds set a new league record and reinforced her standing as a top Division II sprinter. She also captured the 100 yards freestyle title with a winning of 49.94 seconds, which was her second consecutive 100-yard title at the GLVC, marking a total of 5 combined 50 and 100-yard crowns in the last 3 conference meets. She later helped the University of Indianapolis women's 400-yard freestyle relay team to a silver medal finish at the same championship. This performance followed her 2024-25 season achievements, where she was named to the academic All-American team and earned multiple All-American honors, including the winning of the 200-yard free relay and 200-yard medal relay national titles.
Great finish. Namutebi is your champion back-to-back. Karabo Namutebi, the junior from UND, a flag bearer for the Ugandan National Olympic Team in 2020. An amazing week here. Back-to-back champions in the 100-yard freestyle, 2025 and 2026 in the GLVC. Namutebi leads. (22:20), the first place finish for Karabo Namutebi. New record. Another GLVC record is set here in 2026. In second is Moore. In third is Lance. Fourth for Morales. Fifth for Beaumain. And that's a tie for fifth.
And with that comes to the end of our first edition of UBC News Tonight. Do join us at 10 o'clock for our second edition with more stories. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. I'll see you at 10.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Kuma mwaka fana nyinga gwali eyo gwa wangudde omwaka mulamba
bulire essanyu lingi okubanga nawangudde school fees w'omwanange era nina essanyu okubanga sigenda sasula school fees n'omwaka omulamba era ne bazanya ba MTN Momo Katonda abongere omukisa.
As long as you pay school fees using Momo, you will stand a chance to win school fees for a whole year. The school will stand a chance to win a school van. You can also get a school fees loan on Momo. The short code is *165*80# and you pay school fees and you win school fees for a year.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for keeping it with us, following all our programs and our work in general. My name is Michael Jordan Lokomwa, welcoming you warmly to this week's edition of One-on-One, of course, with Michael Jordan Lokomwa. This year, we're going to have those big discussions every week, and we shall have a topic as hot, as good, all that. Now, every 6th of February every year, Uganda celebrates that day recognizing a revolution of 1980, 1986, but mainly recognizing the men and women that participated and all that they went through. A day that is called Terehe Sita. What is that day about, and the history of the whole revolution is what we are going to talk about. The revolution, the armed group gave birth to an army, NRA, and the army now is the UPDF. We're going to talk to one of the people that contributed in the struggle itself, in the formation of the NRA as an army, and the UPDF as now the official army that we pride in as a country. A few challenges that have come a long way, and a few questions that we may ask about our beautiful army. My guest is a very senior one in this field. His name is Colonel Samson Mande. He's not a new face on this show, but this time round we're going to talk about the army to which he is part. This theme of the event this time focuses on recognizing the sacrifices of the men and women that participated in this struggle. He's among those that are going to be decorated with a medal as we celebrate this year's Terehe Sita. So it is really spot on to talk to him. Sir, we are so glad to have you again on the show.
Once again, I'm happy to be with you on the waves of the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation.
How have you been? The last time we talked, you had just returned, very fresh in the country. How have you been, and how have you tested Uganda?
I found Uganda sweeter than I left it.
Really?
Uganda is always sweet, it's growing sweeter and sweeter.
What have you liked most?
The development that I have seen. Villages have turned into cities. Cities have turned into something I cannot describe. I can no longer navigate myself through cities, through towns which have become cities.
We may need police to rescue you.
I need police, I need guides, because you know, where there was a path, it is now a highway. Where there was no path, no building, I see high rises and beautiful farms, a lot of food, trucks and trucks ferrying food, a lot of milk and honey. Uganda has become the Canaan, the land of milk and honey.
That is your observation for the time you have been around. That is my observation,
and mostly when I compared it to where I have been, you know, you've been in snow, it's not so attractive. I've been in countries that are not as gifted by nature as this country of ours. This is the pearl of Africa, really. Before you go out of here, you wouldn't know how Uganda is beautiful.
But of course, nobody would compare their home to anywhere else.
I know.
So, the last time we talked, you shared with us on how you joined the liberation struggles, starting with the UNLA and now the NRA. Can you take us a little to that point? When did you join and why?
You know, before the struggle started and what made our struggles successful, there was a cause.
Yes.
The cause being that we had been ruled by dictators like Idi Amin, the late, if you remember.
I've read.
Like the second regime of Dr. Bote, where a lot of mayhem, injustices, political persecution, persecution for one's faith was very high experienced. So that gave us a cause, we as the youth of the country, to stand up against injustices in search for a better Uganda.
When do you join the UNLA?
The late 70s, the Corps was there to fight dictator Idi Amin.
Okay.
By the current president of ours, Yoweri Museveni. He reached out to us as the youth. He used to visit our villages, schools, and recruit us into the liberation struggle. So I joined the 1979 liberation struggle when I joined the forces of the UNLA.
Were you known to Yoweri Museveni? Were you friends? How did he get to you? How did his message get to you to join the team?
He had his ways of looking for the right people. He had a wide network.
I'm underlining the word right people.
Yeah. If you don't choose the right people, you cannot succeed, because if you don't have the right army, if you have an army of thugs, you can't win. And he needed to recruit the right people. So he used the network of relatives, of people he had studied with, the hobbies, and he had a good network. And he hooked us within the network.
That was for the UNLA?
That was for the UNLA.
Where was the base for the UNLA as you joined?
The base was in Tanzania. And as you know, the first attempt to fight the regime of Idi Amin was in 1972 in Mbarara. That's where my father had a hotel and we used to live there. And it happens that my father was known to the president.
Okay.
There was a blood relationship. He used to visit our villages, even doing clandestine work. So it's our parents who gave us to him to join the liberation struggle.
So from the village, how did you get to Tanzania to join the group?
From Mbarara to Tanzania is just a few miles away. And using the clandestine work, we used to know the contacts through which you would move, go to Tanzania, train, and some of us who did the scouting, as you heard when he said I was the scout, would sneak in, train, get information, get whatever assignments we wanted to get, come back to Uganda and serve the liberation, young as we were. Because young people would not be suspected. We used to pass through those roadblocks without, you know, when you are innocent, even the
no one would suspect you for anything.
Nobody will suspect that you're carrying something.
You have the capacity of causing any mayhem.
So by then the young people, the Kadogos, we played a lot of role in information gathering, intelligence gathering, so to help the war to succeed, the liberation war to succeed.
How easy was it to attack and overthrow Idi Amin?
It wasn't so easy. As I told you, the first attempt failed. He had a strong army. Nobody should underestimate that army. They were highly trained by different countries. Some trained in Israel, Russia, Britain. So he had a very well-trained army and a very strong intelligence called the state research.
Okay.
We had to beat them.
How?
By tactics, by discipline, and by having a strong cause. Because you know, many of the people who attempted died. But when you have a strong cause, you jump the dead body and keep advancing. You put out fear and you keep struggling. You say the struggle continues.
We hear of officers in the UPDF whom they say yali mujasi wa Amin. Did you win over these people from the Amin's army into the UNLA, or it was after capturing the state and the power and the government that these people just joined you, or you joined the official army then?
We had a strategy of wooing the Idi Amin officers and men to our side. And actually this is one of the jobs I did successfully. Okay. When President Museveni used to write letters to those officers serving in the Uganda army, I took the risk to deliver the letters, mainly to the commanders who he targeted, and he knew if we got those commanders out of Idi Amin's army, the Idi Amin's army would collapse. Because you know, one of the reasons why it was no longer strong, he would appoint and promote officers basing on religion, not on technical know-how. So we targeted those that had been sidelined because they had the technical know-how.
Disgruntled, but with capacity.
With capacity. Okay. And they were the ones assisting Idi Amin to stay in power. Because these others who were appointed politically because of their religious affiliation,
tribe, religion,
they would not fight. The fighters were sidelined. And then President Museveni, very tactful, targeted them and drafted a message. And my work was to deliver it.
How old were you, Afandi?
I was like 19 years old.
So would you walk from Tanzania to bring these letters?
Sometimes we would walk, sometimes he would give us, you'd get a bicycle, sometimes you would take a bus or any other public means. But you know, things became tougher and tougher, and we had to find a way of hiding what information, what documents you were carrying. And that's how many of them got surprised that I could deliver
a letter like that.
Letters and other materials and money and whatever. To when they came and they were told, they saw my success story, they even gave me a lot of money for having successfully converted a big chunk of people and made it easy for the 1979 war to succeed. Remember, they had attempted in 1972, they failed. Good for them, they had a plan of devastating it. Good for them, they had a plan of devastating Idi Amin's government in Mbarara and Masaka and leave the war to us. Okay. But when they saw it, the going was easy. They said, we will now go
at once
all the way. I helped to create that situation when the Tanzania government could believe that let's push once and for all.
Till when you captured Kampala?
Till when we captured Kampala, till when we went beyond Kampala up to Koboko. Koboko was the main exit route of Idi Amin's forces.
Himself, we hear, he ran, is it through Koboko or through the eastern route?
He used the eastern route to Jinja, to Mbale, later on to West Nile and through the Sudan.
Did you guys have any intentions to capture him?
Yes, intentions were there even before the breaking out of the major war in 1979. He was targeted, but that mission was not possible.
Why?
You know, he had his own intelligence, he had his own, he was a trained soldier, he was a very strong man. So many attempts which were made targeting him, the person.
Weren't that easy?
Weren't that easy because, you know, he was also tricky. He wouldn't sleep in one house. He wouldn't use one car. Sometimes he would use a simple car, and people targeted the convoy, the presidential convoy, when he's on a piki-piki.
You target a convoy going to Entebbe, yet the man has gone to Jinja.
He's gone to Jinja. So he was also taxful.
Why is there a gap? Because after 79, it's like there was settlement in the country, kind of calmness. We even see an election in 1980. Where had you guys gone after capturing Amin? Where did you people go? What happened? Did some of you join the National Army? Where did you go? What happened?
The 1979 war had factions of the Ugandan fighters. We were not in one group. We had Fronasa and the President, Yoweri Museveni. We had Save Uganda Movement. We had the UPC Kikosi Maalum under Oito Joka and the late Oito Joka and the late Dr. Bote. So those factions, after the fall of Idi Amin, are the ones who formed now the Uganda National Liberation Army.
Okay.
So some of them went into the army There are some who did not proceed, they went back to school, but there are also some who were rejected because politics, divisive politics had started way back, even before the 1979 war. That is why you had factions, Ugandan factions, fighting the same government. So when we took power, every group wanted a lion's share of the army. Many of the Fronasas were pushed out because the UPC wanted to dominate. But me, I joined the National Security Services. Still, I was affiliated there, but I was in the UNNA. So I served in the intelligence services. Okay. And many others served either in the army or in other services of government. So that is how the UNLA was formed, out of the factions that participated in the liberation war.
So we go for the elections, which elections had issues, and now we get the announcement of 1981, which brings now the NRA. So did this get you from government work as a security operative?
You know, because of the politics had now been tribalized, I was targeted.
Again?
The UPCs were mainly dominated by the northern factor.
Okay.
You know, it was now the north versus us, the south. We looked at each other, not as friends. So some of us, some of our people were arrested and killed, even before elections. By the time of election, I was in hiding, just because I came from the West.
Okay.
And just because I had the history of being in Fronasa. So they hated the Fronasas, they hated Westerners, they hated the people from Buganda, and that caused a very big rift. And because of the witch hunt, you remember so many people were being killed, kidnapped, and killed even in broad daylight because of their political affiliations. So how could we have accepted this? That justified the one justification for the fight against
now the Obote
II government. Because it was not only about elections, it was about the injustice, the mayhem, the lawlessness
of the government.
Of the government.
Actually, the government that followed 1979.
So we could not stand this. We thought that by elections we will get a better government. But elections were rigged.
After the 1979 war, did you expect again to get back to war, or you thought we had restored order to the country?
We thought we had restored order and glory. But because of these factions and the fight to dominate power,
yes,
it started again. We're back to square one. Now not fighting against ourselves, we the liberators. Until the elections, our hope was that by elections we're going to get a better government, we're going to get democracy, and the country ruled on values of democracy, the rule of law, observance of human rights. Our dream was shattered by the rigging of the 1980 election. Then we lost hope of getting a better government.
And what the dream was, yes.
And then we found ourselves having to go
back to war.
Back to war. It was not by choice, it was by force.
How come you missed Tarehe Sita?
I missed it because, you know,
because Tarehe Sita was the spark of the war, where it started in Kabamba.
Yes.
That's the day that we celebrate. How did you miss that?
I knew about it. I participated in preparing for the move.
How? What was that role that you played?
You know, mobilizing the right people, some resources to go and wage war against the despots. But down the road towards Tarehe Sita, when I was in Mbarara with a load of arms, I kept waiting for somebody that would come and pick us with our equipment. That person was arrested in Busega.
As he was coming for you?
As he was coming for us.
Where had you gotten
But
there?
lucky him, the late Colonel Napoleon was taken to Ruzira, and he remained in Ruzira until 1985.
Where had you gotten the guns?
We were in the forces.
Okay.
I was an intelligence officer, rounding up remnants of the former regime and disarming them. And when it clicked that another war was in the offing,
you had what to use?
I wasn't that dumb. I had to prepare for the next move. So that is how I didn't go to Kabamba physically, but spiritually,
you knew whatever was happening.
I knew what was happening.
So where do you join?
And you know, the story started that they were 27.
Yes.
But as we talk, you hear they are 40-something. Because the 27 are the ones that reached. But it's like you are cooking matoke. The person in the garden, the person who cut the banana and brought it, the person who went to fetch firewood may not be in the kitchen. But all of them,
it is the whole group.
It took the whole group to organize, and you have food on the table. So we were part of the 27, sometimes by proxy.
Who may not have appeared in the photograph if it had been taken at Kabamba in action, but you were there connected to the group.
And every day that passes, we keep remembering, hey, even so and so, he's added. Okay. Even so and so who did this, he's added. You can see that the number has been growing from 27 to...
As history reveals.
As history reveals.
How would you generally describe the situation in Luwero jungles and why you were able to capture power?
You've got to have a strong cause. The cause was there that forced us to keep on fighting. The discipline is the second thing. When you have the right people, that is why the method of recruitment, which I attribute to the President of Uganda, he designed a good method of recruitment. We ended up having right people in the right place.
Let us break that down.
Disciplined people.
Let us break that down. Right people. Who did they have to be?
They have to be people who can understand the cause, people who show patriotism, people who can say, you can see that sincerely this guy, his anger is not driven by any other gains, but looking for a country that will be cherished by generations. You would study someone and know that this one has ability, has capacity
to understand this idea.
And also to endure
whatever it will take.
Whatever it would take. You don't just go picking everybody at that time.
I am looking at a young man at his early 20s. Is it just the cause of the country that was the main motivator? Not you alone, but with your colleague, to drop everything, finding a job to settle, finding a wife to settle, to end up first in Tanzania, then in Luwero, Was it just the country, or you knew what it would mean to be connected to power?
No, I think we have two things to address here.
Yes.
The first one being the calling. You know, I'm born again.
Yes.
This had to do something with the calling. God wanted people who would rescue this nation. Secondly, then God sent the leader and gave him the message to tap on us and impact us to receive that message and uphold it. He had the right message. So we had the right, I can call him Messiah, comfortably. And the Messiah had a strong message and had that ability to look for the right people. He found us, he taught us, we grasped, we also taught others, they grasped, and that is how the NRA UPDF turned into a disciplined force. It started from above. To our leader, we had the right leadership. The right leadership got the right people. And the right people got the right message. And we developed the right methods of work.
The last time we talked, you told me you were posted in Mukono. Another group was somewhere in Chiboga, others in Luwero, like that. How easy was it to coordinate these groups to chase the same goal?
Yeah, we actually didn't even have technology that we boast of today.
I'm imagining all of that.
But because, firstly, of our training, secondly, our instinct to survive and fight on and defeat the enemy, developed over a period of time. That's why the war did not take 5 months. It took 5 years to become a force. Because we had to evolve. We had to survive. We had to develop survival instincts for communication, for fighting, for feeding us. It took time to put all these together to help the army, the NRA, to evolve. So it's a number of things, including prayers.
You would pray?
We would pray, and the population was praying for us.
How did you mingle with the people? Some of them so innocent in the remote areas of the country that they would not report you to the authorities.
What happened to our country started before the war. The people even wished there was war to fight this government. They had
themselves they
were ready. Many had run away from the town and were hiding in villages. So when they heard somebody, some group was fighting for them to liberate them,
they were ready to give any help.
They were ready to give anything it takes to help the growth of that force, or to become part of that force. And when we connected with them, with our discipline, with our siyasa, the message, we found love. They loved us, we loved them, we worked together to become the force that later on captured power.
What kind of prospect did you have of an army after capturing power?
Our dream army was a people's army. An army made out of the people, by the people, for the people. The people's army. Does that inform you on the name UPDF, Uganda People's Defense Force? It's all about the people. They made the army. They fed the army. They created the army. They became the army for the people. The People Defense Forces.
When you got into power, how did you draw the plans of now building an army?
Firstly, our mission was to build a strong army that would overwhelm the regime's army and capture power.
That is when you were still in the bush?
When we were still in the bush. And we came out, it happened, and we came out victorious, captured power, and found ourselves having to defend the whole nation, not the Rural Triangle. Challenges started coming. Because how we managed it in the bush would not be the same way.
It would be when there was no war, and you were in
and when we had a large population, and also we had neighbors to take care of, some of them hostile, some of them friendly. So we needed to move from a guerrilla force, a militia kind of army, to build an army that would take care of these new challenges. And then we had to study how other nations did it. I was the first NRA officer to be sent for a course to study how other armies operate.
Where was that?
I was sent to Nigeria and Ghana.
Why? Why you? What was so
I
special?
don't know why me, but I also can ask why not me. Me, I didn't seek for it, but I was summoned. And I say, we are sending you to acquire more military science, more military knowledge in the prestigious college called Jaji in Nigeria, where most of those generals
in Nigeria
passed. I was privileged to be the first. I went, I did it very well, and I acquired a symbol called Past Staff College with an A+.
Wow.
So when I came, the president asked me to give him a course report, a brief. Then I wrote a very good course report to him, showed him how other armies were organized, how we should train our own, how we should organize and establish our own.
Okay.
There and then he appointed me to be the chairman of the establishment committee to establish the army, to move the NRA from the militia, the guerrilla force, into an army of international standards.
Okay. Okay.
He gave me 4 other officers to help me in the exercise. Now we wrote that book, a 400-page book, that transformed the NRA from NRA to UPDF, the army you see.
What did the transformation involve? Was it taking troops into training? What was the training about?
It was about training of individual soldiers. How do you train a good individual soldier commensurate with the challenges of within the country and outside the country?
Okay.
Formation training, that is units. Combined arms.
It is you that carried all that knowledge.
All that knowledge I had acquired, I wrote it down, it applied, and it is still applying with new, I think they keep adding more knowledge that comes because it is open for improvement.
With the changing world.
But the foundation
you laid.
We laid.
Okay.
That is when I even said this army shall be called the Uganda People's Defense Force, UPDF. A name they have upheld.
Why do you claim that name to have been your idea?
Because you know the ideology we had. Me being an NRA and Fronasa NRA Bush child,
yes.
Knowing that the people were the cream, the people were king. It was all about people. We're fighting for people. This is the army of the people, by the people, for the people. To defend them, we needed a good.
How do you come up with this name?
This is how I come. It came with me in the blood already. It was there. The people that formed this NRA
should own it.
Should own it and should be defended. That's where I get the D. Then we needed a force. The People's Defense.
Where did you first suggest this name?
To the High Command, to the Army Council and the High Command. They loved it and they have taken it a step further to Parliament.
For approval.
For approval.
You deserve our medal. How easy was it to transform minds that were fighting in the bush, to take them to class, to tell them, to give them now duties, deal with people on official grounds?
Back to our history, first of all, our leadership. They have a good background of being intellectuals. Yes. They treasured books. And you could see a difference between a person who is learned and what a learned person can do. Everybody can do something. But when you are learned, you do it better. You should have seen that most of us who went to the bush were at that age of learning, in the high school, some from Makerere. We treasured education. Then we had the need to modernize, to have a modern army. And you couldn't do it leaving education out. So we inspired
it had to be part of the journey.
We inspired ourselves. We inspired the soldiers, and we helped everyone who could go to school. They are still helping them. This is now an army of high intellectuals, as opposed to when we had only peasants and a few intellectuals. Today you have more intellectuals than peasants.
Senior 6 and above.
Isn't that transformation?
Senior 6 and above is the basic qualification for recruitment.
Isn't that transformation?
What comes to your mind, or what do you make of a UPDF that today we hear with the medical department, an engineering brigade, professional sections, so many departments with such expertise, totally away from militarism? What do you make of a UPDF like that?
It's an accomplished army with all the departments that are required for it to function in peacetime and in wartime. They can run this nation. Some of them are very good teachers, instructors. Good doctors can manage these hospitals. Good engineers, you have seen the engineering brigade. The Air Force are in the air, they can fly any aircraft. Man the radar, they are inventing things. Soon Uganda will be out there in the space. Because all these were predetermined when we were writing the establishment. What did we need? We wrote all these departments, how we should train our people into them, how we should organize them and sustain. And this is what is happening.
What do you make of situations where the people, the ones who were at your heart when coming up with this name, come to complain about the army, where the green uniform has been cited in issues where people have been thrown out of land, where the army is seen in violent scenarios. Yes, there are disciplinary measures that have been taken on the personnel, but where it is found in such instances. During the other day in our discussion, we talked about some corruption cases that were in the army. Even today we hear some. What do you make of such instances where the UPDF is caught by the people, the owner of the very army, on the wrong side?
I can only say that we are dealing with human beings. The army is not made of angels, they are not machines, but human beings.
The expectation would be that...
And to err is every human being. There are those who have erred. Of course, they are human beings. There are those who have made mistakes. Treat them as any human being who has made a mistake. It is not the policy of the army to send soldiers in those things you have, in those evil things. The policy of the army is clear. But because of the human nature, even in the Catholic Church, even in the Protestant Church, don't you hear priests who have done something wrong?
Definitely.
So we are human beings. And when you see a soldier doing something wrong, do not do what they call collective condemnation of the whole force. Take him on as an individual. Bring him to book. The army itself has mechanism to discipline them. It is a code of conduct.
In instances where these complaints are rampant, what happens?
Every day, if you were to list cases that are reported to a police station, you would not even be talking about the army. Ugandans or any other people of the world, crimes are committed every hour. That is human nature. The difference is, if you take the officer there and he's not reprimanded or disciplined, you would be complaining.
You are a senior military man. I'm sure even if you're to read, you take time to find out about other armies internationally, how they're developing, mechanization and all that. Where do you still see things that still need a touch in your army that you love?
Well, more technology, so that we can reduce the number of human forces and depend more on technology, because technology is thorough, swift, and cheaper than asking a whole battalion of 1,000 people to deliver the same fire. Today, people with better technology, one man can deliver fire worse than 1,000 people can.
They are rampant,
accurate, and effective. So we need more technology into the army.
What do you make of the rampant complaints of the welfare of the human resource in the UPDF?
If you saw us in 1986, I was dressed in rags. Can you find a soldier of the UPDF in rags today?
Of course no.
Most of us were using the leg to move. Today, every section has a jeep. Even Rome did not take one day to build. And even Rome still has a few problems they desire to get or to overcome. Those complaints you have, some of them are genuine, some of them are genuine. But you can be rest assured that it's work in progress. Even those will be overcome. We didn't know anywhere, but now UPDF is outside Uganda operating and coming back. So there are a few areas in the welfare, maybe in housing and all this and this, they are being worked on. And there shall always be challenges. But it is the government of the day to attend to them and keep minimizing. And people should not shy away from highlighting where they see problems, because when you do, or when you criticize government objectively, it is assisting the government to deliver the service. We will keep improving and improving and improving.
The last time we talked, you told me, I am not a veteran, I am a serving officer. Do you still refer to yourself as so?
As long as I am not yet retired, what do you call me?
Are you a serving officer of the UPDF?
I have answered that one.
If so, I would expect one time to interview you in uniform. Is there a day like that that will happen?
It is coming. And don't run away.
No, I can't.
You can't. So prepare for me.
An interview when in uniform?
When I will be looking differently.
Are you ready for any assignments?
Very much so.
Where would you pray to be tasked to go?
Anywhere my abilities can.
No, of course you understand yourself more than anyone in this country. If you close your eyes, personally I would pray if I'm to be sent anywhere as an ambassador, it would do for me. That is me. You, where would you love to be assigned if anyone was thinking about assigning you? In the army?
You know, in the army, it's dangerous for us to choose what to do or to choose what rank to wear. You are given an assignment by your commander. So I am anxiously waiting for the assignment. But if you see a soldier trying to choose where to work, you never give them that. There is a motive. There could be a motive. Why does a soldier prefer to work in some area? You are prepared to work anywhere.
Aren't you entitled to a passion?
Yes, I am.
Wouldn't you love to head the sports team, the sports wing of the UPDF? Anything like that?
I would love to head any department given to me, whether sports, whether Marines, whether Air Force, whether artillery.
A number of your colleagues of your age bracket, bush war comrades, have been retired. Aren't you in that bracket?
I'm anxiously waiting for that. When you are retired but not tired.
Would you take a retirement if a letter came in good faith?
I would love so, and if I am allowed to seek, to choose, I would seek to retire and serve the nation in other fields. Because I think I have served enough in the military field.
But as a colonel, wouldn't you love to take a higher kind of rank?
It's not about ranks. It's not about what you did in the army. I commanded troops. I'm battle tested with no failures. I've worked in a diplomatic service. I have reached the ceiling. I have trained forces. I see no vacancy
that you have not filled.
That is not filled. I was lacking, so that if I get out of the army, there will be
a vacuum.
A vacuum. No. So isn't it time for me to go and serve this nation in other fields?
What would you tell?
Do you want me to go home when I can no longer do anything else? Let me go when I am still energetic enough to serve in different corners of the
you have colleagues, veterans, who are well physically, socially, economically, and they are there. If you watch TV and some other different platforms, there are so many of them that are crying to government, we need help, we are here. What would be your message to the leadership of your army, our army, and the country at large, on behalf of these people?
Well, there is a number of reasons why people might be in such state. We couldn't all be uniformly happy. I would advise them, those who are in such wanting state, to go to the right offices, departments, authorities, and report the state in which they are. Moving around the country, I've found out that there is a general problem with the veterans and people who were retired earlier. I think the packages they went home with were not calculated according to the challenges of the economy. I, for one, I have already written a brief to the power that be, that,
you are already busy like
that there is need for them to look into adjusting on the package, so that the veterans and other officers that are retiring live in harmony with the challenging economy. That is a general and genuine complaint. But I can say, instead of going to the social media to cry, the social media will not help. Go to the right authorities. Help is there.
What would be your message to a Ugandan watching you in as far as his or her own army we are talking about is concerned?
Ugandans by and large are very happy with the Uganda People's Defense Force. It is the army that has allowed this country to be very peaceful for many years. It is this army that is very friendly to people. People no longer run away from UPDF. Like in the 80s, before we went to the bush, you just needed to sight a soldier walking, and the whole village, one soldier, the whole village would shift. Today, when the UPDF park their cars or come, you see them, people come and greet them. We cherish this army, we cherish the relationship between the army. After all, it is your army, the people, the People's Defense Force. I am very happy for the relationship. And I'm very happy for those, including me, that helped in the creation of this army. I'm very happy for the leadership of the army. General Kainerugaba, our dear leader, President Museveni. We pray that you continue in this direction. And those that have been rewarded, be happy with the reward you carry. And others that have not yet think that they have not been rewarded, they could be there, but your reward is coming.
Thank you so much, sir. His name is Colonel Samson Mande. He is a veteran and a senior military officer in the Uganda People's Defense Forces. As you heard in the discussion, the seed of the UPDF was sold in Fronasa. It came to the UNLA, NRA, until we settled as a country with the Uganda People's Defense Forces that we have now, and serving the country in a number of fields, but still as an army. Yes, as we celebrate the Terehe Sita, that is how we managed to get this discussion to look at that journey with Colonel Samson Mande. With Dan Lugemwa, Davis Kamukama, and myself, we wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.